Hello and welcome. Now in this best practice video, we're going to be talking about your microphone in terms of the optimal computer setup. Now if there's any one discussion that you probably see amongst entrepreneurs and anyone who is doing anything online when it comes to multimedia, it's about finding the best mic for your recordings. And sound quality is important, but there are going to be some other considerations with you using Camtasia 9. If you can have a place where you have absolute silence, any cardioid mic, such as the AT2020, the Blue Yeti, or any of those mics that are USB mics, they're going to produce great sound. However, depending on where you work from, it will probably be rare that you are going to have absolute silence, and sometimes mics like the AT2020 or the Blue Yeti, they will pick up background noise. And it's for that reason that we're going to suggest an alternative, and that alternative is a headset. In fact, a Plantronics headset, which we will show you here in a minute. Now you're going to want to get the one that costs about $30 instead of the least expensive one. Now the Plantronics headset plugs into your computer's stereo jack, so it does not plug into the USB port. It basically means you are not going to be using a USB mic. And this is important because a USB mic will always take up processing resources while you record. And when you actually choose to appear in your video, whether or not you're the subject of that video or you're appearing off to the side, this one fact is going to be very important because screencasting software like Camtasia is going to be computer resource intensive. And that means then that your video is going to have latency mismatches where your video is doing one thing and your voice is doing another thing, and that happens often when you use USB microphones. Now a stereo mic avoids this problem. Now yes, you are going to sacrifice some quality, but not really that much, and it's always going to be good enough for a solid tutorial. And the other thing that headsets like this do extremely well is noise cancellation, and will not require you to have absolute silence where you're recording from. Regardless of what kind of headset you purchase, make sure you get something that will help you to block out noise on your mic. And that'll also reduce pops in your recording. Now, one of the things you're going to want to do when you are screencasting, particularly with Camtasia 9, is that you want to position your mic away from your mouth directly. This is going to keep you from producing pops. Now let's take a look at the mic. Again, we're not talking about a huge expense, and these mics are readily available, very inexpensive. And what you'll notice again is that these mics plug into the stereo jack. They do not plug into the USB jack. The latency issue is a big one, and you'll often see it when people are producing video and they have a tutorial video where they appear in that video. Unless you have a massive amount of computing power, you want to make sure that you are making the most of your resources. And if you want to get started using Camtasia 9 before you go out and get a powerful computer, you can do that if you use the stereo jacks in your microphone. And again, here are very inexpensive alternatives to be able to add to your mic, to slide right over to the mic head. And again, this will help you to avoid pops. It'll help you to block out some of the noise while you're talking. Welcome back. Now in this video, we're going to be talking about the best practice of using a production machine. Now one of the ways that you're going to save time is not having to produce or render, is the other term, your videos on the same computer that you work on. And Camtasia Studio will allow you to use 2 installations for 1 license. As long as you are the person using both of those installations, it's legal within the terms in which you purchase Camtasia Studio. This means that you can place your second installation on another computer that you use. And we're calling this, in this video, a production machine. Now you will use this computer to do the final processing or the rendering or production of your videos. And the best way to do this would be to use an external drive and to plug it into your production PC. Now if you use any kind of special assets in your library, you're going to need to make sure that you export those assets out of your library on one machine and export them into the library on your production machine. Now this means you can either hand over the videos that you create to someone else to render, or you can work on your videos and render them all at once on your production machine and walk away. Now previously in the course, we talked about how you can batch render multiple videos. In other words, you can set all your videos up at once and then use the batch requirement. And remember that batch can be found. Here in the file area. And then if you recall, there is a batch production link. And this gives you the opportunity then to go and get those multiple files for you to run all at once. So if you're creating a course or a series of videos, you can work on the creation, and then you can set all of your rendering jobs on your production machine. And what this really means is that you can keep working. So you don't have to worry about all the resources on your computer being taken up to render your videos. You can continue to work on your main PC and then run your jobs on your production machine. You are also then free to run your jobs on your production machine and then do whatever else that you'd like to do. Now, there is an important discussion to have about a production machine, and it is that technically in the terms of service, Camtasia says that you cannot run Camtasia concurrently even if you are the user of both installations. Those are the terms in version 9. Now, in a recent discussion with Camtasia on their social media, it was asked of them whether or not this production machine clause is still valid. And basically, if you look in this area, we verified that you can still use the function of doing production machine, and that this is an appropriate use according to Camtasia if you read this. So even though the terms technically would leave out the production machine out of version 9, verifying with Camtasia as of right now, the recording of this video, that this is something that they are perfectly fine with. But once again, if you're unsure, make sure that you do your own follow-up, that you follow up with Camtasia. You don't want to break the terms of service and then have your license to Camtasia revoked. Make sure that you verify if this is something that you want to do, and it's certainly something that you should want to do because it will make you much more efficient and it will allow you the freedom of being able to work on your PC while your videos render on your production machine. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video.